Hey, Nick.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, man.
How you going?
I'm really well. How are you?
I'm really good. I'm actually really excited.
Really?
Yeah, because it's coming up to Oscars. I'm kind of
Actually, it is the
feeling
most wonderful time of the year.
It is.
So
Even
it's
better than
it's
Christmas.
really early.
It is quite early for us. Yes.
We're trying something a little bit ridiculous. We're actually
Yeah.
going to try and record
Yeah.
and edit and release an episode
in a day.
in about 4 hours. So
Yeah.
this is going to be.
We're doing well.
I think so.
I did sign on for late nights, Tys, not early
Yeah,
mornings,
I
but that's
know.
okay. We can do this.
Sorry.
We can do this.
It's much more conducive to movie chat
It
when
is,
it's
isn't it?
dark out. And
Exactly.
it's like late and it's in the AM.
Have you seen a movie, Tys, at 10 in the morning, like first session bang?
Oh,
Have you ever done
Okay, so I had not by my own choice. I had a friend of mine in primary school
Oh,
who I would stay at his house over holidays.
right.
And whenever he was like wanting to go see movies, for some reason, his family had this thing where it's like, oh, we're going to the movies.
Yeah.
And it was the 9:15 session or something.
Really?
I remember seeing The Adventures of
Oh.
Huck Finn.
Oh, yeah. I
Like
remember that.
well and truly in the AMs
In the
of
AMs.
1996,
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
that was 94,
Wow.
96.
That's awful.
Yeah, but they're
You
the
don't
only
want to do
person
that.
that's I've ever made me do that. Ever. I don't know, maybe.
I have never seen a 10 a.m. I don't think. No, I haven't.
And unless it was like the last session, if it was a movie I really wanted to see and it had one session a day and it was 10 a.m., that would get me there.
No. See, the sessions I've seen at one movie a day is like the last session at like Nova will do like an 11.
No, true.
PM?
Yes.
That's the session I go to. I'd rather later than earlier anyway.
When I try to Oscar binge, which is what I'm going to have to do very shortly because I'm very far behind,
Yeah.
I tend to kind of do the 7 a.m. get up.
Wow. And you
And just
do it
chuck
all
one
in
on. Go for it.
Wow, that's intense.
Yeah. And it always, you have a really different atmosphere to the movie
Yeah,
watching when
you
when the
would.
sun is just barely coming up and the rest of the house is still asleep and
Yeah.
you're trying to smash out like
Yeah.
this
I can't.
prestige drama.
But I hate doing that. Like, just listening, trying to watch a movie quietly. I want the movie to.
you are
if
very
it's-
vocal.
Sorry, if it's going to
You're
be,
very
I'm very vocal.
enthusiastic.
I don't. Obviously, I'm not, loud during a film, unless it's funny. So, and then you can't shut me up.
Hey, so
Yeah, buddy. Should we kick it off? Should we
yeah,
watch?
but let's do a little bit of admin. So you can
Yeah,
find us on.
I'll go for it.
Well, we're Nick Tys and Videotape. God, we got to say
We
this
are-
shit. As if we didn't.
We didn't say it at the start. No.
We should. We really should. Nick Tys and Videotape. You can find us on iTunes, on Stitcher, TuneIn, anywhere you listen to podcasts.
That's true.
You can find us.
And on Facebook at Nick Tyson Videotape. You can follow us on Twitter at Nick Tys Videotape. And I've been told to actually add the fact that I spell my name Nick with no K.
Oh, that's
so
true.
It's
That's
NIC.
important to people.
That is quite important.
Yeah.
So yeah, please, it's NIC and Tys is TYS.
Exactly.
And Videotape.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if you want to email us, it's nicktysonvideotape@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you. You can email us about anything you like.
Anything at all.
Anything at all, really.
Please.
Any of our upcoming segments. We're still searching for the perfect names for them.
That's true.
If there's a movie you'd like us to talk about, give us an email.
Our
or if
opinions
there's
on
some
them.
kind of topic you want us to have a general discussion of, we're also really keen on that.
That's true.
So we're going to get started.
We are.
See any good trailers, Nick?
I
Trailer watch.
Trailer
trash.
watch. Trailer watch. Maybe it could be that. Trailer watch.
Well, okay. I feel like trailer watch needs to be accompanied by
Trailer watch.
sirens and like
Yeah.
serious news music.
Yeah. That's awesome. Trailer watch. Tice, I watched. Look, I watched 2 trailers.
Sure.
I want to see how we're going for time, but I'll talk. I want to talk about one, which is the trailer "Song to Song" by Terrence Malick.
No, I was going to talk about this one
You're
too.
going to talk about this too. Okay. How do you feel about Terrence Malick, Tice? Do you have an opinion?
I haven't seen a great deal of his movies.
Okay.
The 2 that I have seen,
Yep. Which are
Thin Red Line
Yep. Same.
and
Tree of
Tree of Life.
Tree of Life. Okay. Same.
And I Oi. Oh, that was
Oi.
In Oi.
Yes.
I fucking love both of those movies.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
100%. They
Okay.
were two of my favorite movies of those years.
Right.
And
Wow.
for some reason though, even knowing that,
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a lot of drive to see Malick films.
Yeah.
I see the trailer for something like To the Wonder,
Mm.
and I'm like,
Eh.
what even is this? Like,
Yeah,
what?
exactly.
You're giving me nothing. And so I don't end up going to see all these Malick films, which I probably should, because he's 2 for 2 for me.
Yeah.
And I've only heard great things about stuff like The New World
Yep.
or Badlands, like
Yep.
some of his older stuff.
Yep. Man, Badlands. I've wanted to see that for ages.
Yeah.
But this is where, so I saw the thin red line when I was working at the video store as a teenager. So kind of in and out of it, didn't really understand probably a lot of the nuances and things like that. And then I had a bad experience with Tree of Life. Not really a bad experience. That's a bad way to put it.
Sure.
I was I was drunk when I saw it.
That is not a movie to watch drunk.
Exactly. And I fell asleep midway through the start, which I felt was just a long screensaver. I felt...
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So me and my friend went to go see Super 8.
Sure.
I was seeing it for the second time and he wanted to see it at the cinema.
Yep.
And... my wife came along with us and she was like, I don't really feel like seeing Super 8. And my friend was very kindly enough said, well, how about we watch something else, even though it was the last session of Super 8. And he still brings it up, which is so killer. But we saw Tree of Life. Now, me and my friend had a few. We fell asleep 2 seconds in, I'm pretty sure. And then we woke up and then I watched Tree of Life. But I just felt that watching the trailer for Song to Song, Tys, it's got my interest a little bit, but I feel like I've seen it before. That's
the cast.
Do you know what I mean?
Get my interest a lot.
Absolutely.
It's a really great cast, and not even just what's in the trailer. If you go a little deeper on IMDb, it is a fucking cast and a half.
Oh right.
It's
really
incredible names. Like, bring it up and just have a look.
Yeah.
But it's also that it's a plot that interests me.
Yeah.
Because it's music industry related,
yeah.
and I think he is for such a visually kind of stimulating director. I think there's a lot that can be done, kind of putting music and vision hand in hand, and I think Malick's a good director for that.
Yeah.
So I'm interested in that. Although I don't know about, is it just a love story kind of set around the music industry?
That's the thing. Like, this is just what I'm getting from the trailer. It's a love story set against the music scene in Texas, and I just feel that Malick is a little bit. He has a formula just like every other director, but I find it a bit dull. Because we're going to shoot a scene and then we'll have shots of a mosh pit and then a band and then, a stock footage of the earth. I feel that it kind of goes along sort of that formula, and I don't know, it's got my interest a little bit. I may watch it, but it's not jumping at me.
Yeah, visual imagery that worked so well in Tree of Life, I think works so well in that because he is trying to kind of make very big statements about the meaning of life.
Yeah.
Using these small intimate relationships. So he can kind of go off on these tangents of showing these huge kind of the sun flickering through trees for 5 minutes, like, and that I was on board for that when I watched it. I really,
Tree of Life,
for some reason, I was just on it, man.
Yeah.
And even all that nonsense at the end, I was on it. He just got me, and I just don't know if all stories call for that.
Yeah,
kind of
exactly. So,
because you could call it kind of indulgent, I guess. And so maybe this one won't work, but but listen to this cast, man. It's really good. You've got your main cast,
I may watch,
but then you got Christian Bale, Boyd Holbrook, Kate Blanchett, Val Kilmer, Benicio del Toro, Holly Hunter, Clifton Collins Jr. That's huge.
That's massive. And then obviously you get down to the actual musos who are in there. You've got Iggy Pop, Patti Smith. It just says Arcade Fire as a person. Yeah. So yeah, there's people in there.
Yeah.
You know, it may be a watch.
This might be the one to bring me around again. Also, it hasn't helped that none of his movies have been particularly well reviewed since Tree of Life.
Yeah, that's true.
And so when I'm half interested and I'm like, okay, look, the trailer doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah.
This Night of Cups one that was from I think about 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You know, the trailers don't do anything for me. If the reviews are good, we'll give it a crack.
Really?
And
so
then the
you go
reviews
on
are quite
reviews.
well,
Okay.
only if in certain circumstances.
Yeah.
And people whose opinions I trust.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, more than just the
good
general
idea.
reviews.
Mm-hmm.
And they were, you know, pretty middling on both of them. So
Yeah.
I don't have that drive to go see them in that case. Whereas I feel like this might be the one to get me because it is a subject matter that I care about a lot.
Care about, yeah. That's true.
But yeah, it's
Yeah.
interesting looking film, man. He's got such a distinctive style, and he's just doing it's his shtick, and he loves it now. This digital video, kind of right up in there.
It is very like all the shots in that trailer are so close and up in your face.
And he loves that kind of fluid movement of just kind of, you know. It's not fly on a wall. It is fly. You are in
you
there,
are
kind
yeah.
of
You
are
are
in
part
the
of that
environment, but
relationship.
you don't move fluidly. You don't move like a human. You move quite fluidly through the environment. Really interesting. I want to talk about a trailer that I saw as well. It was called Mine. Did you watch the trailer for this?
I did watch this.
That's okay. So it's an
Army Hammer.
Army.
Yeah, it's
not
Army.
Arnie. Like
No, it's
Arnold.
No,
Army.
No, it's Army.
God, have I been saying that wrong?
Really?
This whole time?
Yeah, it's Army.
All right, there you go.
Yeah. ARMIE.
Well, there you go.
Army Hammer.
Sorry, Army.
Sorry, keep going.
War movie. He plays. I believe it's Afghanistan.
I believe.
Plays just a regiment soldier. Him and a partner of his get kind of caught in hostile territory, trying to travel through the area, and end up on a minefield.
Yeah, that is like an extraordinarily massive minefield. Yeah, and they have to cross it.
Yeah. And well, look, no spoilers because it's one of the first things that happens in the trailer. His friend gets
taken,
mine bombed. What are they called?
Exploded.
Yeah.
Mine bomb.
What do they call them under the ground again?
He dies.
Mines. Mine?
Yeah, it's a mine.
What is it? Pressure. It's like a whatever.
A pressure mine.
I don't know. So he gets destroyed.
It's too early for us.
I've got no words. All of my words are still in bed.
That's awesome.
And then Army
Hammer
ends up stepping on one and knowing that if he releases his foot, he's going to go to
a pressure mine.
Yeah,
it's a pressure mine. Yeah. So if you take your foot off the pressure, it blows.
And it appears as though that's the movie.
And he stays there for that entire. And he calls in, and he literally. It's like, is it 52 hours?
I think they say something. Yeah, in the
along
50s hours.
Lines,
so we're talking 2 and a bit days
that he
can't move. He has to keep pressure on the mine, and
he can drop to one knee, but he still has to keep his foot on that. mine.
And it looks.
It looks interesting.
It looks really interesting because they're taking it. They're clearly taking it a few different ways. They're doing that. There's physical threats, but they look like that they're kind of trying to express the emotional damage as well with a kind of 127 hours style.
Exactly.
With all the weird hallucinations and things like that.
Yeah.
And I like him a lot. I like Armie Hammer a lot now that I know his real name.
Me too.
I've
always liked him.
I think he's great.
He got me at Winklevoss.
Yeah, he was so great.
Twins.
He was really great in that. And so I'm on board. It looks a bit kind of it looks a bit cheap. It looks like it's a small budget kind of thing, but
good.
It's a nifty little idea.
Yeah.
It's your phone booth
speed.
Kind of. It's your speed. It's your high concept.
Yep.
Walking into a pitch meeting, the guy goes, "All right, how about this?"
Exactly.
And everyone claps.
goes, "Yeah, this guy."
Because they can't believe they didn't think of it first.
Exactly.
So I'm interested to watch it because I feel like you'd want it to be a tight,
quick
90 minutes, 85 minutes kind of style. You want in and out. You want it to be high tension, high pressure the whole time, and it'll be enjoyable, I think.
Yeah, it looked really good. It looked really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm keen for mine. You watch any other trailers?
I watched one more, which I'll just quickly talk about, which was called Get Out.
Oh,
Did
yeah,
you
I
wa-
saw,
did you
I
watch
saw
that?
this trailer ages ago
Oh, right.
when it was, because it went to Sundance. And so I saw the
right.
trailer for it
Okay.
around that time.
So a really good premise. It's
Awesome. It looks
in the, sort of the same vein as the Visit. Did you see The Visit?
new.
Oh, please! Everyone should watch The Visit. I know everyone kind of has a kibosh on M. Night Shyamalan.
I'm fine with him.
No, a lot of people do.
I will watch any movie he puts out, but I usually wait for it to come to me now.
I'm
I
not
don't-
agreeing that The Happening wasn't bad. I am agreeing that The Happening was bad.
Happening is amazingly bad.
It was, but I know, give him a second chance.
Oh,
anyway,
happily.
it's in the same vein as that. It's an African American man who visits his girlfriend's parents, and the trailer just hooks you with all of these weird, almost like cult things that are happening.
It's kind of got almost like a
it's got
Stepford Wives kind of thing going on to
really
it.
does.
And there's a couple of things that really interest me about that is that it stars Bradley Whitford.
Yes, who I love.
Who will always be Joshua Lyman from The West Wing to me.
Yep.
And I will watch anything he's in. What's
So
amazing is that for my first exposure to him was West Wing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because
Really? Ever? Oh, mine was Billy Madison.
Well, and then someone was like, "Did you ever see him in Billy Madison?" And
Yeah.
I'm like, "He's in Billy Madison."
Yeah.
And then this is an extended story. Someone was like, "You have a laugh very similar to his laugh in Billy Madison." The
Really?
bit where he goes, and from then on, I've always been like, "All right, cool, yeah, Bradley Whitford."
Okay, you're
me and
Bradley
him.
Whitford.
I
That's
like
awesome.
it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and so I'm really keen on him because he's fucking
He's
awesome.
so he brings the goods. Yeah.
And I'm super keen to see how Jordan Peele directs it.
Yeah.
Because he's super funny. I love Key and Peele.
Primarily a comedy director. Yeah.
Well, their series is hilarious, Key and Peele.
But it just looks so.
And
It
so
looks so good. It's sort of a little bit scary, but a little bit funny. But
yeah.
you know.
Well, from what I've kind of just gathered from early word is that he does not cop out on the horror.
Oh, okay,
like
good.
It's a horror movie.
It's a horror movie. Yeah.
And it
you
might
can
have
tell
it have some comedy
it'll
elements,
have some,
but it's well and truly a horror film. So yeah, I'm keen to
man.
see it. It looks really
good.
bizarre.
Yeah. Hey, Tys.
Yeah, man.
What did you watch this week? Anything?
Oh, what did I watch this week?
Come on, mate.
Yeah, what did I watch this week? Let me
Let you have a look.
let me get my thing.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, no, I remember what. I'm just going to talk about one this week.
I'll go for it. Me too.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
I watched the Doors documentary from a couple of years ago, When We're Strange.
Oh yeah.
Or When You're Strange.
Yeah,
When You're Strange.
When
sorry.
You're Strange. Yeah. I remember when that came out.
Yeah, it's,
I did want to see that. Narrated by Johnny Depp.
It is narrated by Johnny Depp, who
Look at that.
might as well have not turned up. He
Might as well have literally just phoned it in over the phone.
he narrates it like he's reading a dictionary.
Really?
Look, and that's not his fault. He's going for a thing. He's going for kind of like
He's doing a thing.
he's doing like a mysterious, disengaged
Oh,
kind
piss
of
off.
voice.
Yeah.
But I think what's funny is that my enjoyment of Johnny Depp as an idea has faded a lot.
Diminished due to his allegations.
Well, just due to his horrible choices in projects of recent times.
Oh, okay. Private life notwithstanding. But yes, I do agree with you. His choices of late have been far and few between.
And I think it's almost. I look at him as the choice of narrator, and I see the decision-making process. I see the filmmakers going, "We need like our generation's Jim Morrison," and I'm like, "That's not Johnny Depp, man. That's maybe in 1995 when,
yeah, sure.
but now he's not that
gone.
anymore."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and look, it's an interesting documentary. It's very the factual information it presents and the footage that they have uncovered is excellent. Excellent. And it is a very straightforward beginning to end telling of
The Doors. Oh, nice. Okay.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
There is not a lot of... They are not attempting to do anything other than just kind of here are the facts. They do a wraparound with... and like little interjections of a short film that Jim Morrison made when he was at film school.
Wow.
Oh no, it was post film school because he made one film school film and they laughed him off basically, and then he quit the course. Yeah. So there's a short film of him traveling. It's like a road movie that he made. It goes for about 50 minutes, and they use it kind of like symbolically through to represent kind of parts of where the doors are at.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the movie itself that he's made is not very good. It really, like, you can see that it's like one of these real kind of pretentious. I am the wise poet traveling the open road, and it's all very, it's the kind of stuff that is just a big old wank. And so using that kind of footage, it just kind of exposes that element of Jim Morrison. I think he's such an interesting.
He was a poet, and he was.
This is what I mean. He's a very mysterious figure.
Yeah,
because. And it's the same for me as well. When I watch, or listen to the Doors, I don't feel like I'm listening to any old band from the 70s. It feels like an experience. It feels like
makes you want to go into the desert and take peyote
for some reason. Like if there was ever a thing that made me want to be a crazy
Riders
hippie.
on the Storm.
Oh man, exactly. It makes me want to take my shirt off and walk through the desert and grow my hair out and get a big dirty beard and just like feel the earth, man.
Yeah.
How that music has that effect on is beyond anything. But that's the magic of the Doors.
Yeah.
He's a really strange figure.
Mm-hmm.
He's for a guy that had everyone thought was so wise and had such a insight about the world, was also just a drunk and an asshole, and really kind of maybe what are we are we celebrating someone who maybe accidentally stumbled across this kind of this insight. But so this documentary plays it very much like he was the savior of art that we, some people call him, think of him as this real kind of in-depth, got to the core of humanity. This documentary plays up that kind of persona.
So it is sort of one-sided.
It's very one-sided. Yeah. It's definitely it's for the fans.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not for anyone that it would be kind of somewhat skeptical about the Doors' influence.
Yeah.
It brings up an interesting point about documentaries that I think is for a bigger discussion, but I'll just briefly raise it, is that are documentaries, what do I like about a documentary? Do I like the subject or do I like the documentary? Do I like what the filmmaker has done with the subject, or do I just find the subject inherently entertaining?
I think it can go either way.
Well, I feel like this is one of those ones where I find the Doors fascinating, and that's why I liked this. I don't think it's particularly well made.
I think a good documentary is not leaning to one side, which is very rare. I feel in the documentaries that I've seen, you rarely see both sides of that coin, which I feel that a documentary should do.
Yes, I think if you're allowed to be honest about your intentions, though.
Yeah.
I think it's okay for someone to come in straight off the bat and be like, well, this is what this is going to be. Yeah. It's going to be one-sided. It's going to be very...
Oh, absolutely.
It's going to raise this subject up to a pedestal and we're all going to marvel at his wonder. And that's essentially what this is doing. That's okay if that's the choice they want to make.
Yeah.
I'm saying on a fundamental filmmaking level, there's not really much in this. It's kind of the editing choices are really strange sometimes. Like I said, using the short film as kind of interspersed and a wraparound does not work.
Yeah.
So would I have the same experience watching like the VH1 Behind the Music special about the Doors?
Or Oliver Stone's movie of the Doors.
Well, I mean I think. That's funny because, as I was saying a couple of weeks ago about my love for Oliver Stone, I didn't actually mention the Doors in that because I don't find the movie The Doors particularly great.
No.
I will watch it a lot, though.
Right.
I find it really fascinating because
I need to watch it again.
should work on every level for me.
Yeah.
For some reason, though, at the end of that 2 hours,
It just dies in the end. I
just
remember
like-
the ending just
Well-
kind of teetering off.
I mean, what can you do though? Because that's what happened to the Doors. They just
Yeah.
kind of teetered off, and I at least like the way that Oliver Stone tries to kind of symbolize his death as like a second birth with his the Native American culture thing that he was all about
Fascinated
and
by,
fascinated by, and but to me that because I obviously not being alive in the time of the Doors, the Doors movie is what provides a lot of that mystery for me because they do present him as almost like a magical figure, like a shaman or something, and it's so that's part of it there. And also you think about how well the Doors music has been used in other films.
Yeah.
Like I'll never be able to not see Apocalypse Now.
Oh, right. Yeah.
You know, when you hear the end.
Yeah.
Stuff
Such a
like
good
that.
song.
Like that guitar, that just that ding, ding,
Yeah,
ding,
and I can't hear People Are Strange without thinking about the Lost Boys.
Without thinking of the
Even
Lost
though
Boys.
that isn't the Doors, that's a cover, but still, that's
it's Echo and the Bunnymen.
Yeah.
But yeah, 100%. Yeah. So look, if you're a fan,
I
get on
I would
board
like to
because
watch it.
there were some things in there. Like I consider myself a reasonably big Doors fan.
Yep.
There were some things in there that I didn't, that I found really entertaining and really interesting, and things that I didn't know about. There's footage that I don't know how they got this footage. Like I honestly don't know how it happened.
Yeah.
Because they behave like there is not a camera there, and I mean there was because I'm looking at the footage.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
they've got some really great stuff,
That's good.
and they can use all the music. So there's none of this kind of weird. We can't actually
we don't
play
have the
Doors
rights.
songs. We don't have the rights to them.
Yep.
So yeah, it's it's not super long. It does get to some interesting thoughts. Ultimately, though, I don't know what it's trying to say. I don't know. I think it's just Jim Morrison fandom basically.
Right.
And I would have liked to have seen a little bit more, just some kind of purpose to the film existing other than just. We're telling this story. I feel like good documentaries exist simultaneously to telling a good story about a subject. They are a good example of a film themselves.
Yeah.
And this one I'm a bit kind of in the middle about. So yeah, Nick, what did you watch this week?
Well, I watched something a lot lighter than what you watched, Tys, because I've been getting ready for the Oscars. It's been a lot of serious watching. But in the middle of that, I don't want to talk about the Oscar film nominations that I've watched.
Sure.
In this episode, I want to talk about something that I had to have a breather after some heavy.
I love a good breather movie.
Yeah. So I watched Pitch Perfect.
All right.
I love that movie.
Seriously.
I love it so much.
Okay.
It works on so many levels. It really does. I understand that the formula has been done before. But it's a 9 out of 10 for me.
Oh.
Yeah, it is. It is because it doesn't drop the ball. It makes fun of itself. Like it's the formula for it's been done before with the Bring It On and the everyone trying to get to regionals. Everyone wants to get to regionals or win at regionals.
Yep.
But it works. You've seen it. You've seen it in Bring It On. You've seen it in Drumline. You've seen it in
Drumline.
You've seen it in what was the dancing one that they started doing?
Any of them? Stomp the Yard?
Yeah, there was like 3 versions.
I've seen Stomp the
Yeah,
Yard.
see,
and
there
I
you go.
Like
see, I told you. The formula works, and they know what they're doing. Plus, Chuck's singing into it, singing covers of songs.
Sure,
and everyone loves it.
Sure.
But I think it works because the comedy is making fun of itself. Like I remember so I saw the trailer and I told my wife, let's watch this. And she went, really? Really? You're really going to put this on? And that start where she just, I'm not going to spoil everything if you haven't seen Pitch Perfect. That first scene where you've seen it, haven't you?
Yeah.
Where she power boffs, like just throws up everywhere because she can't hold the note. Or not can't hold the note, but
yes. Yeah.
You knew from the start it was like, oh, this is a bit different. And it kind of from there, it makes fun of its own genre. It makes fun of the Glee
It is definitely
world.
aware of itself,
Exactly.
which is good.
It's refreshing.
It is refreshing to a degree. It's got a really nice energy. I'm not on board for either of them. I've seen 1 and 2, and I do
2 sucked, but 1
I
was
do
good.
struggle a little bit with them.
Really?
I don't know.
I love it.
I can find myself.
It's so
I can
much.
kind of release and have a good time with them, but at the same time, you can't. It is aware of itself.
Yeah.
I'll give it that. But
Yeah.
just admitting you're aware of yourself doesn't give
Isn't
you
enough.
permission to then just do it anyway. Do you know
You
what I
don't
mean?
think so?
No, because you can't. You then need to subvert it in some regard.
You need a bit more. You're picking apart Pitch Perfect? That's funny.
No, because only because it plays as what you're saying. It
Yeah.
plays as slightly smarter and slightly self-aware.
Yeah.
But that's like me painting a Picasso knockoff.
Yeah.
This is go with me on this
Oh,
analogy,
here we
right?
go.
Standing next to it saying, "Yeah, I did this. Isn't it shit?" And then still trying to sell it for $1 million to you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I kind of see that. It still works for me.
It's
unfortunately.
that's totally it's totally fine, but
Yeah.
I find myself getting caught up in it when I'm watching it because I'm like, yeah, but just because you've brought attention to that gag doesn't make the gag any less.
But it's not as if all the gags are.
No, and
poking
look,
fun at
there
that.
are some funny stuff. There's some funny stuff in there. Like, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that
You didn't laugh.
I
You
didn't
laughed.
laugh and I didn't at least remotely enjoy myself.
Exactly.
I just
Just at the end of it, you were like, "Oh, I understand what you were doing."
At
I'll
the end,
put
I
it away
don't
for
think
later.
it's. I don't think its intentions were as clear as it thought it was.
Right. I think it works. I think it's lightning in a bottle, and they shouldn't have done another one.
No, that shouldn't. Although the
And
one
it-
thing I
and-
like about the second one is Haley Steinfeld. She can
Oh,
be in anything.
Really?
I'm a big fan. I think she's just got incredible screen charisma.
right.
Screen charisma. What did I just say? Scripperism.
It is early in the morning.
Early in the morning.
Okay.
But
But yeah, I watched Pitch Perfect.
yeah, and look, if there was
I
ever a
loved it.
palate cleanser, it wouldn't be my choice.
Exactly.
But that's like along those lines.
Well, I hadn't seen it in a while. It'd been a while since I watched it.
I don't know what
and-
my palate cleanser would be.
Well, normally,
That's a
this
great
is
question.
the thing, and a palate cleanser for me is normally a superhero movie.
Yeah, that's actually a good point.
You
It
know.
probably would be.
But yeah, I need to give my wife a break.
Why don't you
Only so
Yeah.
many times you can watch Ant-Man.
True. That number is 17.
Yeah.
Why don't you email us, people? What is your palate cleanser movie?
What is it? That's a
really great question.
good question. What is your palate
I would
cleanser?
love
Do you
to
have
know.
one?
Do you have one?
And what is it? What is your palate cleanser movie? Not your TV series.
Yeah.
Everyone has that.
Everyone has that.
Everyone has that.
Yes, but that's Anyway,
Yeah.
that's neither here nor there. That's what I watched as well. Have you done your
Nice.
watch? Yeah, we did your watch. Pitch Perfect.
We did Pitch Perfect.
Hey, let's talk about our main
main attraction.
Welcome to our main attraction. I like that for the middle one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
main
need to. I'm
attraction.
going to put a little bit of music in there. I'm going to find some. Still the best fucking thing. So we're talking about a movie today.
We are. It's called Cobra.
And it is called Cobra.
It was
It's
made in 1986.
1986. What a year to be alive.
Amazing. I was 5.
Yeah, I was 4 years
I
old.
was 4.
I
Yeah.
was shitting
We're
my
the same
pants
age.
probably.
Yeah.
When do you stop doing that?
The
I don't know
last time I
anything
shit
about
my
children.
pants, I was 27.
Hey, good times.
Yep.
Yeah, I've had barley belly.
Yeah.
I know what it's like.
Oh no, this was just a normal Tuesday.
Just sitting on the couch. Whoop.
Oh shit! Lucky
This
no one's
movie.
home.
So we wanted to do this because we realized that we'd done a Bruce Willis and Arnie and Arnold Schwarzenegger, and we
yeah.
were like, well, let's do a Stallone.
Exactly.
And then we thought, well, let's do one we
Let's change
haven't
it
seen.
up. Let's change it up. Let's do a Stallone movie we haven't seen.
No, and so going through his IMDb to find one that we both hadn't seen, which was actually kind of
it was
difficult.
hard. Yeah.
And this was the one
Yeah.
that we stumbled upon, and
Yeah.
which is good because I've been meaning to watch this for a while.
The cover. Oh, I'm there.
Yeah, every time I see it, and it was one of those things. It was the DVD was always cheap, and I'm like, oh,
Yep.
should I just buy it? I'll blind buy it because I might as well get it. And I've blind bought a whole heap of shit
I
before.
have too.
And
Some of the shit that I've blind bought though.
Yeah,
like just
oh man, I love it. So yeah, my blind buys
Mm.
usually, if I blind buy anything, I'm blind. Like I've got a Steven Seagal set that I bought because I'd never seen. What's the one with the red in the background? Hard to Kill. Is that Hard to Kill?
I can't see where you are.
All of them have the same kind of 3-word things: marked for death, hard to kill, out for justice, marked for death. Like there's something for something, and I'm like, they're very sometimes hard to distinguish between them. Anyway, for some reason, Cobra always escaped me. I never thought about
Under Siege. Yeah,
well, which is a classic.
Still have to get my wife to watch it. Yeah,
and. Partly because though it was never really spoken about. When people kind of listed off Stallone, I love Stallone.
Yeah, because you go to the Rocky, you go to the Rambo,
people
you go
didn't
to the
say
Demolition Man.
Oh, Cobra. It wasn't in the conversation, so it felt like kind of the forgotten sibling, which then led me to not have a huge amount of drive to see it.
But that cover hooked you, didn't it?
The cover. I saw the cover. I'm like, why aren't people talking about this movie?
Exactly.
Like, what a badass cover.
Yeah. I need someone to talk about it so they can validate my watching.
Yeah. And unfortunately, not spoilers for my opinion of the film.
I'll go for it.
It's pretty inconsequential, really, in the end.
What do you mean?
It doesn't really make an impact, this film.
Oh, it's not. Well, that's the thing. That's why you haven't heard anyone talk about it, Tys, because it was give or take. It was like, oh, well, that was okay.
There are moments
wasn't really,
that are legitimately bonkers.
Yeah,
like
it's not like sorry,
like out of control. Like I can't believe what I'm watching. But for some reason, it just doesn't add up to anything particularly memorable. I think this would be a great movie to watch when you are like half cut with a bunch of mates.
Yeah,
that sounded so bogan.
Get
a bunch of mates. Get a fucking couple of beers.
Get some
mate.
tinnies into you.
Oh,
yeah,
Jesus.
This goes out to my brother. Yeah, no.
So yes, a few drinks down with a small collection of friends.
with a couple of cocktails and some beverages.
Do you know what it needs to be? It needs to be a rowdy night.
Watch it with some friends.
It needs to be rowdy.
No, it does. It can't be.
There's no cocktails.
Cheese and wine.
It needs to be.
It needs to be a
hard
shitload
liquor.
of beer. Everyone needs to be doing beer
bongs,
beer funnels.
Yep.
And just, and watch it, and you'll get a laugh.
You will get a laugh, and you will have a very good time.
I don't think so, Tys. I'm wrong. I believe that you can watch this and just have reminiscence of how awesome the 80s was. I didn't mind it. It was all right.
Oh, no, I'm being misleading.
Yeah.
It's not like I didn't enjoy watching it because I'm watching it at the same and just
going,
bemused by
awesome.
some of this shit that's happening.
Exactly.
Like just had to laugh at some of the stuff that was happening.
Yeah. Okay, so let's actually talk about it.
Yeah, look, so I want to talk about the opening sequence as a bit of a whole.
Are you going to talk about the start?
Yeah.
The stats? Okay.
Yeah, so we're talking probably from the very intro.
It's the first thing
until
you hear.
The end of the supermarket section. I would consider the opening.
Oh, wow.
The opening segment.
Which was so bizarre.
So this whole sequence. Well, tell us about this opening narration.
So it starts. I don't have the actual thing there, but it starts off with Stallone as his character narrating.
So I'll just pick out 1 second. It actually starts off with the boldest red font I've ever seen in my life on a black screen.
Cobra.
Yeah.
Like, how good was that?
And as soon as I saw it, I'm like, well, this is going to be rad. Like, I was so on board for that 1 second.
Yeah. And then these stats come in with, do you have them?
I don't,
stats.
but
I can
whatever
look
the
them up
stats
if you
are,
want,
but it doesn't matter.
But it comes up with like a crime is committed every 60 seconds.
Violent crime every whatever, a rape every however, and murder.
But the thing is, with that, I'm like, okay, so you're sending me out. So why, how does this come back to it? And when I wrote it down, I was like, well, what has that got to do with the film? At all. Why is it saying these stats has got to do with anything? But after that, it goes into this sort of like a quick edit between the bad guys who are the cult with axes, like double-edged axes, clinging them together in the air in this dark foundry with smoke and just a little bit of blue lighting in the background for fun. And if you look, they're not just, I'm like, oh yeah, it's a couple of bikers just having a bit of fun. It's not. There was a guy in a suit. Did you see him?
Yeah,
so there's a guy in a suit there, and they're all like chanting.
Yeah.
So it's a bit weird like that. That intercut with a guy on a motorcycle. Now you think it was a little bit misleading. You think that is Cobra on the motorcycle. Well, that's what I thought, but it wasn't. It was the first bad guy that you see of this film, and who ends up going into a supermarket with quite a large shotgun. And he doesn't kill people, Tys, if you notice. He doesn't.
Oh, no, I noticed.
He just starts shooting walls, scaring people away so that he can create panic. And then...
all right, so...
It was just weird. But then
you've said a mouthful right there.
Sorry.
Like, there are so many things that I need to stop you and we just need to go back for a second because...
Do you want to go back to the cult?
So first of all, his narration.
Yeah.
It is, if you know how people do the Stallone voice?
Yeah. Mr. I am the law. Yeah.
This is the example you go to because I couldn't understand what he was saying at first.
I am the law. I am the law. Yeah.
Why am I saying him like Southern? He's not Southern.
That's
but
terrible.
It's Stallone doing Stallone in that
awesome.
narration.
So
but
good.
Also, the slow reveal of his pistol while it's happening, he's
with
the Cobra on the gun,
yeah.
and it comes up, and then he holds it to the screen, and it's like the James Bond of like badass 80s cops, like he does the shoot the fucking screen.
It was bad.
I was so on board.
Yeah.
Like I was like, this is gonna be amazing.
This is gonna be awesome.
And just the way like the credits were just this red font. It's just like Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah.
Bridget Nielsen. Brian Thompson. Like they're yelling these names at me. I was so ready for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I chose the word badass. Because it is the most badass opening credit sequence I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It was misleading. Because it set me up.
So you like that
intercut
intercut with the cult thing and the motorbike?
This fucking cult, man. What is going on? How do these people come together?
I have no idea.
They
are so mysterious and just literally random. In the literal sense of the word random.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go on.
Okay, so, for one, how long... What are they... Do they have like a set period of time every night?
This is how confusing
that they dance with their machetes
with their these questions.
Hatchets.
Yep.
Like, do you reckon they're at like they meet at the foundry and it's like, okay, here's our plan. I've sent this guy out. He's going to shoot up a supermarket, and they're like, yes. And then you're going to go do this, and you're going to murder this person. Yes.
I didn't get that feel at all.
Let's hit our hatchets together for 5 minutes.
Let's stand here.
Let's do it.
No, 15 minutes.
And it's just this chin, chin, ha, chin, chin, ha. And do you reckon when I'm sitting there going, fuck, I left the oven on.
Yeah,
and
seriously.
While I'm doing my fucking hatchet dance.
Good suit.
Yeah, God, I wish I didn't come straight from work.
Fucking hell.
Oh my God. Like, I just don't understand it. It is the very definition of a cool shot for the sake of a cool shot, and that is this movie's. Like, if that is this movie's calling card, it is cool shots just for the sake of cool shots.
But they were so cool, Tys.
But they're so fucking cool, man. Also, they were only in this part. The rest of the movie, this didn't happen.
Yep. He
was using I'm going to say it's directed by George P. Cosmatos.
Yep.
Who, look, I don't think has made particularly great films.
Sure.
But he did happen to make Tombstone, which is one of my all-time favorite films.
I love Tombstone.
So I have to give him some credit.
Yep.
Although, from what I've heard...
What you've read.
Yeah. Is that he perhaps doesn't direct
a lot of it.
Many of these films.
Yeah.
Because now this is twice. Tombstone... I've heard that it was
more
proxy directed by Kurt Russell.
Right.
And now I'm hearing about Cobra was basically Stallone directing it. Yeah. And because they'd worked together on First Blood Part 2.
Yeah.
And he was just like, yeah, do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Apparently, verified by the cinematographer that it was like, yes, it was directed by Stallone.
Yeah.
Which makes so much sense
when you watch it.
When you watch it, because it is made.
It really did. Like when you read that after the film, you were like,
you just went back and went, of course it was. Of course it was.
Yeah.
But only in this opening sequence, there were these weird, like the fisheye lens shots. They were, and then these weird, distorted kind of whip pans in slow-mo that kind of, it made me think of like a Beck film clip from the 90s.
Right.
Like, the Loser film clip. There's lots of fisheye and there's that weird kind of shaky back and forth, but it's
90s.
It was so
clips.
weird. It looked like a 90s film clip.
Seriously.
Which is really interesting for a movie made in 1986.
Yeah.
Ahead of his time, you might say.
Oh my God. Okay, moving on.
Oh man, like there are just so many little things where you're just like, oh, you're such an idiot. Like the constant cut to the birds flying, because the birds were on a traffic line, but then a gunshot went off, and so we saw the birds flying away like 4 times, and I'm like, we get it, man. It's the symbolism of this disruption to normal society and all this kind of shit. And I'm just like, come on, man, you're not doing anything for me.
So we see this guy come in and just start shooting up this supermarket. He's not. You don't know what his intentions are.
Well, the whole movie up to this point is very. This is gonna be rad, man. It was so fucking extreme, this movie. But then he doesn't shoot anyone. Food.
Yeah.
He just walks in and shoots a bunch of food. I'm like, this movie needs to commit to its fucking deal, man.
A lot of blood, a lot of bodies.
Like, that's what I mean. You've set this up to be like the movie that I'm gonna be like, man, have you fucking seen Cobra?
Yeah.
And he walks in and he shoots one dude. Yeah. One dude. And it's so funny the way, like, that.
But he makes him run.
The way he's like, you can leave, you're free to go, whatever. And you just know he's going to shoot him. But it's so this slow-mo bringing the gun up, and the guy's like,
cock the gun and boom. And he shoots him in the back. It was, and from then, exactly from that moment, Tys, you were like, oh no,
this is going to be
a fizzer.
Yeah. It's going to be someone's idea of extreme, but it's going to be watered down by Stallone, probably, in order to make sure that it sees the widest audience it can.
Yeah.
I did read that it was heavily cut. The violence was heavily cut out of this.
I read that as well. Yeah.
But that doesn't mean he still came in and shot food first. Like,
yeah, exactly.
So it's not like you cut a bunch of violence from that.
Yeah.
I don't understand why this guy's not in here shooting up the joint. Why he's not just killing a bunch of people? Because these are the villains that you're presenting us, and as the movie goes on, they're presented as being pretty ruthless.
Yeah.
What's going on with this guy?
I don't get it.
Anyway, he's a weird unit, guy, anyway.
But the introduction to Cobra himself, come on. Because you wow, you're out already. So so this guy's shooting up the place. The cops rock up. They don't know what to do.
No.
They're kind of scared, which is hilarious. And then they say to one another, well, we have to call in, we
have to bring in the Cobra.
We have to bring in the Cobra. And I'm like, are you fucking serious? You haven't even done anything yet. Like,
I just love that
he's like so boss. Like him coming, like Stallone coming in, he's mentioned that he used to be on the zombie crew. Like, they're not even mentioned. Like, that gets mentioned like three more times.
I don't know what it is.
And I don't know what it is.
What is a zombie?
What's a zombie crew?
It's
It's so badass. He's and they're like, oh, he's the no holds barred. He'll totally get the job done. I'm like, okay, so what are you, where are you going with this? But it doesn't go anywhere. It just kind of, he just rocks up. He goes in. He gets shot at. He doesn't do anything different. Like,
no, he doesn't do anything that I don't think anyone else could do.
Exactly.
Like, a beat policeman could have done what he did.
Yeah.
He snuck in. He just walked in quietly.
Yeah. Kevin James could have done
through a half. Yeah. As Paul Blart. Half drinks a can of sweet Coors.
Exactly.
Like, there's some product placement for you there.
That was, I actually kind of like that.
Gotta sink the sweet Coors.
He's hiding behind some beer, grabs one of the beers out of the thing, drinks it while his guy is just yelling, throws the beer at him.
But see, and I love that's like His whole plan is I'm going to go in, I'm going to distract him, then I'm going to sneak around the back and open a door on him.
So do
and
that
I'm like,
first.
anyone could have done that. Anyone could have done that.
But he did it Stallone style.
He did. And look, so
yeah,
his number plate is awesome.
Which was so
Which
random.
is just dumb. Like,
but that is, I don't know whether he changed
that a
it.
jerk?
That is the car that the car that is used is Stallone's car. That was his car.
oh,
Yeah,
I didn't know.
So
that's funny.
which makes more sense of him directing.
No, I'm going to clarify it. I'm not
use...
saying that the number plate is awesome as a descriptive term.
Oh no.
His number plate is AWSUM. Awesome.
Yep, it says awesome. Yeah, so he's one of those douches.
He's one of those guys.
Yeah.
It's a cool car though.
I
don't know anything about cars, but it looks fucking
nice car.
Although, like, skipping ahead, this car's like better than the Batmobile. Like,
it's better than the Tumbler Batmobile. That's for damn sure.
Yeah,
like
fucking
seriously,
like this. How this thing didn't get trashed? There is like
because it's a tank.
It's a full fucking tank.
It's so good.
But
yeah, that was his car. He brought that in to use it. He wanted his car on screen.
There's just little choices through this whole section that disagrees with me.
It's just random.
It doesn't. One thing I do enjoy.
Yep.
Is that in order to achieve what is a traditional kind of 80s setup, to have all the kind of you get the smoke machine in to create kind of tension. I love that. That it's they achieve it by opening all the freezer doors, and it's like that. It's the freezer dust kind of coming out. I'm like, that's kind of interesting in a degree.
Yeah.
I will say there was a line that made me legitimately laugh.
Oh, go.
When he's like, he's got the bomb, we're going to blow up the whole place. And Stallone says, go ahead, I don't shop here.
There were some cool
That's a
one-liners.
great line.
Yeah.
that is a great line in any film.
Two lines.
That makes
really
him,
awesome.
to me, that makes him more of a badass than anything he's done so far. I'm like, that line, that you bought me a little bit of cred just then.
Wow. Yeah.
But just this whole sequence doesn't
gel.
It just doesn't gel.
It
doesn't make him any more capable than anybody else. And this is, when you're trying to present the super cop, you think of we've used this comparison a lot, but think of like the Riggs in Lethal Weapon.
Yep.
He's bonkers, but he does something and he's
abnormal to get the job done.
And it gets for some reason his craziness.
Cobra doesn't do anything abnormal.
Is effective. Cobra just comes in and is as effective as another cop would be. You know.
I guess going on what happens when he finally leaves. I don't know whether you want to skip just a little bit. So when he finally leaves, his superiors are like, well, did you have to kill people? And he's like, well, what do you expect me to do?
This movie,
what do you expect me to do?
Yeah,
he shot a guy. And he pulls the superior over and goes, oh no, he pulls out a reporter. The reporter pulls him up and goes, what does he say? He says something.
Don't you think everyone should have rights? And
that's
blah, blah,
right.
blah.
Don't even bad guys have rights? And then he pulls him over to the victim's body and goes, do you want to
explain it to his family?
Yeah.
This is that, and you know what? That 30-minute interaction, is like conservative politics view, summed up, perfectly,
And
I'm like, oh, so now and
maybe we've got a bit of
all of a sudden this movie. I'm like, well, this movie is a conservative ideological,
maybe
essay.
We've got something to say.
It's actually saying that I'm in my head. I'm like, I don't know. Is the writer of this film legitimately standing by these views?
Oh, okay. I don't think so. I think it was a.
No, because they glorify his choice.
His choices,
of not giving them rights.
That's true.
And I'm like, okay, so this is what this movie. And then from then on, I kind of get a bit of a foul taste in my mouth because now I'm like,
right.
This isn't ironically enjoying the violence,
right? Oh, okay.
Do you know what I mean? This is now presenting this as, we need these super cops who are willing to come in and these suits, man, who are trying to give rights to the criminals. They're
Why do you sound like a stoner when you say that? Yeah, man, you can't tell us what to do. You're not my real dad.
Yeah. I'm gonna go shoot up a supermarket.
Fuck you. No.
But you know what
yes,
I mean?
I do.
And then
does
from then
put a
on,
taste in
I'm
your
kind of
mouth,
like, oh, I think these people actually believe
that this is the way
this.
to get it done.
There is no irony in this whatsoever. There is no. They're not setting out to make a really kind of fun balls to the wall action movie. They think that this is the state of the world, and they're like, we need a Cobra.
Yeah.
And that's not cool.
No.
Anyway.
Yeah. So from that, we leave that
I feel
scene.
like it's bad that because there's so much to talk about in this movie, but the fact that we're just kind of chronologically going through it expresses how actual little there is to say about it.
There is.
Because there's a lot of shit that you just want to go, and what about this bit?
I know.
And what about this bit? But it doesn't lead to any
it's not going to
bigger
lead
conversations.
To anything. No.
It's just kind of, and here we are at this scene.
Here we are at this scene.
Man. Let's try and avoid it. Let's see how the best we can do. Best we can do to avoid just time stamping our conversation with the movie.
Okay.
Because we might as well record a commentary if we're going to do that.
Yeah, true.
Keep tuned, guys. We're going to do commentaries soon.
Oh.
It's going to be real fun.
Would you like us to do commentaries?
Tell us what movie you'd like us to do a commentary on.
And if you pick something bad,
pick anything.
I'll start singing. We will start singing.
Well,
through
we've
the
got pleasant voices.
We do. We've sung before. Go on. What do you want to talk about? Then?
Okay. Well, do you know what? Let's talk about Brian Thompson.
Who
was
the
Night Slasher?
Oh yeah,
the Night Slasher.
The Night Slasher. No, you got it right. Who can I just not to bring it back to the movie, even though we kind of avoid talking about the movie, but when they bring up the Night Slasher, he's done 16 kills at this point.
Yes.
How is this not a national manhunt? 16 is a lot.
It seems like they're kind of taking it easy.
Yeah, it seems like he's only up to 16. We'll call in the Cobra at one point.
But there's no task force. There's no. It's Cobra and
the FBI
and his buddy Gonzalez,
who I loved.
And that's Puppy from Seinfeld, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's Puppy. Yeah, with the dirty hands.
But he doesn't wash his hands.
That's
so fucking great.
Puppy.
Yeah.
Brian Thompson. You want to talk about Brian Thompson?
Well, no. Well, that point. That's an interesting point you make. That they try to make Brian Thompson out to be the baddest of the bad.
Yeah.
But they don't. It could be illustrated so much better because all they use for that is basically the news reports. Yeah. Where it's like, in a space of 5 minutes, we go through 3 different news reports where they've gone, and they've killed somebody else.
Yeah.
Interspliced with these fairly kind of badly put together montages of him killing people.
Yeah.
Why is it not a bigger deal? Why is this... It shouldn't be left to someone like Stallone. Yeah. It should be... There should be a full...
FBI
it should be an FBI task force on it.
Yeah. Should be SWAT. Sorry.
Exactly.
Musical.
They'd get the fucking job done.
Fuck yeah.
I think I love Brian Thompson. I'm always a big fan of what he does.
Yeah.
I think he's one of the most terrifying, imposing figures in cinema.
He has
an incredible
face for it. Yeah.
Like it's so.
What do you know him from, Tys? Because I know him from very, very bad films.
No, well, yeah, look, he's not always in great films.
Yeah.
The things that I recognise him without having to IMDb, his stint on The X-Files.
Oh, okay,
as he was one of the guys infected with the goo, with the black eye goo.
See,
hang on.
I kicked out of X-Files after it did.
No, he wasn't infected. Season. Oh, I can't remember exactly. But I remember him being like... When I first watched X-Files, because I was quite young, it was nightmare fuel.
So awesome.
And he's part of that. He was a big part of that.
Wow, okay.
Because I found him terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
He also was terrifying. He was in the first 2 episodes of Buffy.
First ever 2 episodes.
Like the pilot and the follow-up to the pilot as the main vampire in that, and he was exceptional.
Yep.
Really, like, he's got a great build for that. Let's have a look at he's always the muscle, and he does the muscle really well.
Yeah. I knew him from Dragonheart and
Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Yeah.
He plays Shao Kahn.
Which is, that's perfect for him, man. Yeah. He's it's a shame that he hasn't been perhaps better used in his time because he is such a imposing figure.
Yeah.
Oh, Three Amigos, of course.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
I haven't watched that in years. I love Martin Short.
That's the one you choose out of those three?
Yeah, what are you, insane?
Steve Martin, man.
Steve Martin. Oh,
all
of course.
the way.
I'm not saying I don't love him, but Martin Short, man. If I'm going anyone, I'm going Martin Short.
Oh, and of course, he's one of the guys. He's one of the first guys. He's the guy that Arnie steals the clothes from in the first Terminator.
Oh yeah.
Because they're similar. Because they're similar.
Clean, right? Yeah.
Because they're similar build.
Yeah.
But I think he does a very good job in this of being terrifying, despite having no motivation whatsoever.
Exactly.
Despite giving him no backstory, no time to breathe at all.
Makes it up on his own.
Well, apparently this movie originally ran for 2.5 hours, and they cut it down, and everything they cut was
his stuff.
Was defining this new world order. Because to me, it is the most wishy-washy group.
It's so random.
What are they trying to achieve? The only example of any kind of clarity you get is at the end when he says we're trying to, it's survival of the fittest. We're eliminating the weak so that the strong can survive and breed, and we will be a stronger race for it.
And unfortunately, the way that they've cut it, they once the start is done and the Night Stalker is killing off people, yes, the only people that he is picking to kill are women. Did you notice that?
Yes.
The three people that were picked off were women.
Yeah.
And then they did kill men, but that's because they were getting in the way of getting the girl that they wanted to kill. So I feel that is edited a bit
deceptively.
It's saying, I'm not sure if they edited it that way to say something, or unfortunately you have.
Yeah, well, maybe,
do you know what I mean?
See, because now, when presented with that information, it makes you think that it's perhaps more of a kind of a sexual crime.
Exactly. But it wasn't.
But it wasn't. Well, that's what we're told at the end, that it's not.
It's not, no.
What I don't understand is that why we're not given any time to kind of process why he's their leader. Do you know, like,
I feel there's no point trying to make sense of this. Once you're 3/4 of the way in, I was like, okay, so this is just 80s action for the sake of 80s action. I'm just going to let it go.
It's not exactly a long movie. It just needed. I find him charismatic as a crazy,
right.
But he doesn't even get really a scene to
have on his own,
a scene where he talks to some of them, or maybe shows his charisma plays like the guy that leads a pyramid scheme kind of thing, does like a talk and
like
talks about
like a Tony Robbins,
exactly a Tony Robbins for the New World Order, because you've got to realize that he's managed to make police officers.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
he's got businessmen smashing hatchets together.
Axes, man, double-wielded axes. They're not hatchets.
All right,
big.
It's the real shit. Like he's obviously got a certain sense of charisma, but we don't see any of that. All we see is him sitting there staring. Like he's got a stare on him, man.
Oh yeah. What is their end game though? Like, why are these people joining?
I might have written that exact sentence.
What is their
end game?
Yeah. I know I wrote it.
What is the New World Order is what I wrote. Why is Brian Thompson the boss? And how did he convince these businessmen and police officers to get on board? They are the questions I need answered.
Right.
Otherwise, this movie, you can't then present to me this serious kind of, we're making a statement about what we need for violence, and then not justify your villains.
Exactly.
Anyway.
Maybe it was cut out, Ty. See, this is the thing. So much was cut out. So.
But you know what they had time for? The fucking robot model shoot.
How rad was that? Oh, that was so good. The one thing we may be, bagging it out a little bit, the storyline, but there were moments in this that brought you back, and when you were like,
"No, this is fun to watch. Yeah. It is super fun to watch.
Yeah,
it's not fun to then
dissect in a podcast.
Because it ends up getting negative because it is a lot of it is
just
not
boring,
objectively bad.
Yeah,
but it's very fun to watch. Actually, there was a passage when I was bored, and we'll talk about that in a second.
But yeah,
what is going on? Bridget Nielsen, who, my God, what a presence she cuts.
Yeah,
she's like 6 foot something, just blonde as blonde can be.
Amazing.
That European cut face where it's just like jaws that could, just cut glass. She is something. Like, she really is something.
Yeah.
But they've got surrounded by these
robots.
These weird, like, the robots.
I thought they had something to do with it at one point. I was like,
oh my God.
Maybe this has something to do with it.
Do you know why? Because so the modeling shoot happens with all these robots. We don't know what they're advertising. Yeah. Are they advertising robots?
I don't get it.
Can you buy these robots?
I have no idea.
And goes through various costumes, one of which is like Borat's mankini.
Yes!
By the way.
No, but with the high, man, it was in the 80s. The highest
I don't even know what you call that part.
Line.
Yeah,
you go
sure.
right up above the hips there.
Yeah, God, that was insane.
Yeah, man.
Anyway, so she does the photo shoot, blah, blah, blah. You don't find out what it's for.
No, of course not.
Then we cut further to a later scene where she's about to leave into a car park, and for some plot points that are irrelevant, really. She saw the Night Stalker killing someone, so now he has to kill her.
Yep.
While she was having a cruisy drive, but she happened to decide to take the shortcut down the creepy alley.
We're going to come back to this. Keep going, but we're going to come back.
But then there's a shot. So in order to create tension, the music gives us like a nice dramatic. But one of the shot is of the robots, and one of their eyes lights up.
So you think it's got something to do?
And I'm like, holy shit!
Oh, it's going to be a robot.
It's going to be a robot movie. Like, surprise robots.
No,
it was just
robots.
And I'm like, well, what is the point of that scene?
They basically put it in the background like ferns, so that she could model against something that was odd. So it was robots.
But then why give me the shot with the dramatic music and the robot's eyes coming to life? You're basically you're denying me the thrill of a surprise robot horror movie.
Yeah.
Is there anything better than a secret robot horror movie?
So good. So good.
So good. Yeah. But alas, it was not to be.
It was not. The one thing I did like about that, and throughout the movie, was that the beautiful 80s pop in montages that they did.
If you've ever seen Team America,
so good,
and the parody of in the car that's singing the exact things that are happening. This is it. This is it.
This is
the example of that. And there's a great one of those in Rocky 4 as well. Which it's fine.
But yeah, going back to what you said about her. Okay, so the Night Slasher, they kill someone on the side of the road. They're putting her body into the car. Bridget Nielsen drives past. She sees it. They go, "Oh my God, did you get the number plate? We have to get her." And then for the rest of the movie, Tyson, they are hell bent on killing her. This is something I wanted to mention towards the end of the film as well. Yeah.
No, but we'll bring it up now because it's better to just jump around. There's no point trying to be chronological with this shit.
Yeah.
There comes a point where it is no longer relevant that she be dead.
Yeah.
Because they have gone above and beyond.
They've gone way
any
out.
Kind of secrecy whatsoever.
Yeah.
If they're trying to keep tabs on their own existence, that's not going to happen by essentially what they do is take over a whole town at the end.
Exactly.
In order to kill one woman.
Dude. Oh,
I'm like, everybody has seen you now. Everybody
We've got names to faces. We know who you are.
Everyone knows that Bob that works at the fucking butcher.
We saw you, Bob.
Get the shotgun and start trying to... We saw you doing the fucking axe dance, Bob. It is... So their whole reason for killing her is it no longer exists.
Yeah. There's no point for secrecy. So
there's no point. So it becomes just like a vendetta thing.
It was so weird.
But then I'm like, surely you've got more important things to be doing. This is the New World Order. Like, where does
your order come into it? Where does the order come into it?
Like, kill Cobra for sure.
Kill him off.
Like, I just found it really strange. I think like as an intention, because the movie's trying to tell us that if you stop at any point and go, whoa, what's actually happening here?
No.
The movie's trying to tell you that they're still trying to chase Bridget Nielsen's character.
Exactly, yeah.
And so you just kind of go, they're trying to kill her. Okay, cool. And they carry around and be like, but why?
Yeah.
Why?
For that one insignificant scene. Or just, that if you happen to look down, you'll miss.
And are you going to achieve it with an army? You're better off achieving it like with just get a sniper on the roof, man. Surely you've got somebody. They have the sniper guy.
They do. They have the sniper guy.
How
yeah.
is he so ineffective?
They have the sniper guy. They have the guys on bikes. They have the axe guys. They have the guy in the suit, Bob.
How can nobody...
Bob, we've seen you, you accountant bastard motherfucker.
They're both named Bob.
Yeah.
Bob
so
the butcher and Bob the accountant.
Yeah, there's so many Bobs.
Hey,
It's a lot of
New World Order?
Bobs. New World Order. Hey! Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man. This fucking movie.
Yeah. I had a blast, though. That's the thing.
Seriously.
I really had fun.
Yeah, no, I keep going back to it. I had a good time.
Fun. Is there anything I would like to say? Look, no.
The
one thing I will say is for this movie is when you see a cover, when you saw this cover, you knew what you were in for.
Yes.
It wasn't.
I don't think this lives up to the cover.
Oh, really?
I think so. Let's compare it to the cover of Commando.
Exactly, but
Commando lives up to the cover.
But isn't it in the same vein as Commando? It's one man taking on an army, protecting the girl, and he wins.
Commando does everything better.
Oh, I'm not saying that it doesn't better, but it's the same formula.
It's the same formula, yeah, of course. But I'm saying,
but Commando does it better.
Commando lives up to the cover because it does everything better.
Because Arnold Schwarzenegger is better than Stallone, hands down.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, he's a better presence. Absolutely, I think Stallone's a better actor.
Oh,
like when given the right material.
Really,
I think he can be.
Okay, here we go.
I don't think he has the. I think Stallone is limited in his range, but what he does better than. Like that thing, that action man thing
is better.
Still, Schwarzenegger is definitely better than Stallone at the action man.
You think the drama is better at the drama?
I think Stallone's better at the drama.
Well, I would have to disagree only because of two films where Arnie showed a bit more of
I'm not
his
saying
side.
he can't.
Oh no, okay.
Yeah.
But you're saying he's better at
it. He's slightly more limited, I think, in that regard.
I disagree.
Let's find some good things some legitimately good things to talk about. One of which, I think...
Go for it.
I love the hospital sequence where Bridget Nielsen is in the hospital.
Oh, that was quite intense, wasn't it?
It felt like a slasher.
Yeah, it was quite good.
And I was...
You were kind of like, oh, get
slasher,
out, quick, get out.
It felt like a horror movie, like a legitimate horror movie.
It was good.
And it built tension really nicely. Yeah. This was still early enough in the film that I was still 100%.
You were okay with it. You're like, okay, come on,
it's okay.
Yeah.
We had this weird fucking robot thing, but I'm still in it. I'm still there.
I'm there with you. Go. Yeah. Yes.
And so this was earning a bit of quite a bit of goodwill.
Yeah.
I just wish the violence was a bit more. I mean, it's a weird thing to say, but I wish it committed to its violence a little bit better, because the way it would cut away from the violent shot, or the way it would kind of artistically show, like there's a bit where there's a hand grabbing the girl that he's killing, hands grabbing like the bed sheet, and it's bloody, and it's like, well, that's not.
It's not enough blood for me. Come on, have the blood.
We want to be scared of this guy, and he is so fucking scary. Like I legitimately jumped when he busts his hand through the door.
Oh,
when
really?
When she's in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Like, and with the knife, because that knife is fucking great looking knife.
Yeah.
Like, what a design.
Yeah.
Although completely, how would you use that? What an awful idea. You would hurt yourself more than you would hurt anyone else.
You would hurt yourself.
You would.
You would hurt
because you'd think about
we would hurt
where
ourselves.
Would you put it? Like, because anywhere you put it, if you moved your body, you'd spine yourself
because
on the pointy bits.
The pointy bits, yeah.
It's kind of like you have to hold it at all times.
Google the knife, people. Google it.
It's a good looking knife. Yeah, and so that hospital sequence, it did get me. I thought it was really well put together.
It was.
And it was dark, and it was...
And Cobra was on the way. He was running because he had to deal with guys at his house.
Tension, and the way that they were like... and Gonzalez was like, yeah, what did you want? You wanted me for something?
No, I didn't want you anything.
I didn't call you.
Get back to the hospital.
And they immediately know that something's about to go down. It was cool. It had a really nice sense of urgency about it.
Good.
But felt like a legitimate horror movie. It was filmed. It was like that moment they just decided we're going to film this like a horror, and it worked. It was really nice. I also like the. I think him and Gonzalez have a really good chemistry. I think they work really well off each other.
They do. It's a weird. They're not. Gonzalez isn't used enough for it to be a buddy cop film, which is fine because it is Cobra. But yeah, they do. I do like the fact that he is like the most hard ass Cobra is the one to call. He's been on the zombie crew, which I still don't understand what it means. But he eats healthy. What the fuck? Like
Cobra?
all through the movie, he's like,
He's smashing pizza.
why are you eating that for? No, but he tells his friend Gonzalez, why are you feeling yourself full of shit? This was like constant.
So it's a do
throughout
as
the
I
movie.
say, not as I do kind of thing, perhaps.
Oh, maybe.
But do you notice he eats pizza with scissors? Did you see that?
Is that what that was?
He uses a pair of scissors to cut the front end off a pizza.
And then ate the pizza. I thought he was going to sit down and do like a... Yeah, it was weird.
Okay, so this is early in the film. There's a little montage. No, it's not a montage. There's a little segment of about 2 minutes where they think, hey, let's give Cobra some character, right?
Let's give him some,
But their idea of character is just to give him interesting kind of quirks.
Show him at his house.
Yeah.
In his
element.
So
the first thing he does is put the newspaper in the barbecue. He's reading a newspaper and he puts it in the barbecue.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, isn't he wacky and
at the front of his house
and unique?
Yeah.
And then he walks in and gets pizza out of the fridge and uses a pair of scissors to cut the front off it and eats that.
And while he's eating the pizza, he keeps his gun cleaning implements in an egg carton in the freezer. And he sits there eating his pizza, turns on the news and cleaning his gun. And it's not a news. It's it comes up with more advertising for Toys R Us, which is just random.
Oh, of course.
So random. Because the product placement in this movie is quite slap in your face.
Yeah,
really.
they don't hide it at all. And like, that's...
Which is fine.
I'm kind of just like indifferent to product placement. It's kind of like, unless you legitimately turn to the audience and wink. Like, movies got to get paid for. Someone's got to put money.
That's fucked. The only really bad product placement that sticks out in my head is anything by Michael Bay.
Why were we talking about that?
Product placement. Because we've got nothing to talk about with this.
No, we've got so much to talk about. We don't even know where to begin.
It's true.
Because it's just fact after fact.
It's just so many things.
I could just go, but what about this? But what about this? Are you ready? Here's a couple. I'm gonna quick fire list a few of the fucking random. Like, what am I talking about with these beats?
Go, Tys.
Here we go. I'm gonna get my list up. Okay, so
he's getting his list.
Here we go. Okay. Okay.
Is that all right?
Yeah. What's with the shooting range in the police station being right next to the front door?
That was so random. That was really random. That was fucked.
What are they
doing?
They
wouldn't be able to do that. Do you know how loud? Have you been in a shooting range before?
No, I've never been in one.
No.
Do you know what? It was like they
exist.
placed it there because they wanted him to be able to say his cool line and shoot a gun
Well,
straight after it. And they're like, well, how do we do that? Well, let's put the shooting range right next to the front door.
And in my head, that was all Stallone going, no, we're going to have me just literally walk 3 steps from talking to a guy.
Yeah.
And then, keep going. Next one.
The police sketch is the worst thing I've ever seen.
That was awesome.
I could have done that.
I love that police sketch.
I could have done that. It was not a police sketch.
The calves in his face, though, was so funny.
Do you know what? Like, when you see police sketches, you're like, wow, you're really good. Like, you're an actual artist because you need to be a police sketch artist.
That's true.
You need to be fucking good at your job.
It was the 2B pencil that they used was really...
It was like the Simpsons version of him. Worst.
Go on. What else you got for the rundown of Cobra?
Yep. So later in the film, there's a bit where he's cleaning his gun, which I imagine wouldn't particularly be... Oh, no, he's building his gun with the laser sight.
He's building the gun.
I feel like that's
not the cover.
Yeah, on the cover, the gun.
The gun.
Which I assume would not be a particularly peaceful activity. It would make some noise. It would be pretty kind of like you'd be crashing
Cleaning
metal together. Like you'd be kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I love how he finishes it and he notices after that Bridget Nielsen's not asleep. And he asks her, oh, can't sleep? No shit, man.
You're making so much fucking noise over there.
Shut the fuck making this gun. No, I'm trying to sleep. I'm really stressed out at the moment. I've got people killing me and you're sitting there. And
can you maybe shut the fuck up?
Okay.
Or go into another room? Oh, man. Cobra. That was awesome. That was hilarious. Fucking dickhead. No, that was terrible.
It was terrible. What else we got?
It was bad.
So...
Go on.
This goes on from the Cobra establishing Cobra as like a unique character.
Yep.
I think it's funny how everything has to be the extreme version of. Like, he doesn't chew a toothpick; he chews a match.
A match, yes.
When he gets in the car, they don't just take off from the car spot.
No,
he does a burnout.
Every single time, too.
Every time.
Yeah.
It's like they can't just let him be as a character.
That's true.
Everything has to be
of that
the turned up to 11 version of that. He can't eat a pizza. He has to cut it with scissors.
Which is
he can't put his newspaper in the bin. He has to put it in the barbecue.
Yeah.
It's so on the nose.
Yeah.
Like, we are clever enough to see that. We're not going... We don't... At any point, was that considered cool? Does anyone sit
turning
there...
it up to 11?
Like...
No?
Or was it always just kind of remotely ineffective where it was very see-through as a cause for this? Like, any viewer would sit at... Because, I mean, this wasn't particularly reviewed well when it came out. Would it be based on the fact that we're sitting there, aside from the movie, having a lot of flaws, but the character itself, while trying to make it the coolest, most baddest extreme character ever, is actually having the opposite effect.
Yeah.
And he now just becomes a bit lame.
I think it's one of those things, it felt like one of those things that they committed to at the start that he, as that character, just pushed all the way through. I feel they committed that to the start. And then, you know what? To make him as bad as we can, we're going to make him do everything to 11.
I get you.
Do you know what I mean? I think it didn't feel like that.
Is it just Stallone sitting there going, it'd be cool?
if I did a burnout.
That was a bit Arnie.
Sorry,
then.
that was Arnie.
I'm going to do I can't do it. Fuck it. Why don't I even try?
Mr. I am the law.
Shit. That's not bad.
Yeah. It's because the only bit I know, that's the funniest bit to me, where he, in Judge Dredd, goes, I'm the broken law! I am the law!
That's not bad, yeah. All right, so let's wrap it up.
Let's sum up.
Let's get to the finale.
The crux of it.
Well, I do want to talk about the finale a little bit.
Go for it.
Unfortunately, this movie it grinds to a halt for about 20 minutes. In the diner scene.
Oh yeah, random.
And then they end up banging, and it's kind of like, well, where did this come from?
It was so forced.
Like, it's so forced.
And they were actually
there were a couple at
this point,
which is out of control. Like, really,
his car, his wife,
and it just makes
girlfriend.
Unfortunately, it makes the movie feel a lot longer than it is as well.
It does,
because this is a cool 85 minutes.
Yeah,
but
it was quick.
That middle 20 minutes,
an hour and 20,
all of a sudden makes me feel like. I'm like, it doesn't feel like it, and I put the blame on that. I think if this movie was, the opening, the hospital, the finale, right,
that'd be a good movie.
Eliminate. You can still have actually the bit of the chase sequence. Like, the chase sequence is it's fine. It's not a good chase, but it's fine to have it when he trashes the Batmobile.
Yeah,
and.
It's called the Cobra car. The Cobra car.
The Cobra Kai car?
The Cobra Kai car. No, that's Karate Kid. No.
I like this. I like the hotel stuff only because he figures out about the dirty police officer.
Yes.
Which that's effective to a degree.
So blatant. Yeah.
Oh my God. It's like
she's on the phone. Why is she on the phone?
Oh, God. Why don't you use the phone in your room?
That was good.
That wasn't bad.
See,
I'm getting better at it.
This has just turned into us trying to do Stallone. But no, had they shortened it down,
had they just streamlined it, removed that whole, we don't need to know about her and him. We don't need to see them falling in love together. You can intersperse good character development into action if you are clever enough.
Yeah.
I was reading a thing recently about the effectiveness of James Cameron's use of exposition. Fucking hell, it's early.
We got there.
Like, James Cameron is clever at exposition because he always gives exposition during action.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like in Terminator. It's in a car chase.
Yeah.
this is that kind of movie. We could have had the action. We could have built character with her and Cobra.
That's true.
But it didn't need to be like
true.
legitimately, we're going to sit down in a diner and he's going to make a weird joke, like which I'm sure was an ad lib.
Yeah.
Some like a joke about he looks like I can't remember what it was, but whatever.
Get it.
Makes a shit joke, sits down, they eat some food, they talk about like love and stuff. It's like, have you ever loved anybody or something?
Have you ever had someone?
And it's just like, come on.
This is some forced bullshit.
And it goes forever.
It really does.
And we don't need it, man. We definitely don't need it because not every... I get movies having like a romantic thing, you know, and I feel like it's
in there though, like if it's...
Well, it seems to me that romance was a forced addition. Sorry, fucking hell. Was a forced addition in these kind of action movies because that's what studio executives thought would get female viewers.
Yes.
So that the man could say, I want to see this action movie. Babe, you're going to love it because they fall in love. Right?
Yes.
And so that was kind of their you know... Go-to for it.
Yeah.
This doesn't seem... I don't know how anyone thought this would have a female audience. This film was never built around that. This film is built to be men shooting each other.
Yeah.
They weren't trying to get a female audience.
No.
So why put it in there? Why use that? This is just Stallone making sure that everyone knows that the hot woman in the movie would fall for him.
And not Gonzalez.
Poor old Gonzalez, who's a nice dude, man, and just gets shot up.
Who doesn't wash his hands.
No, he does not wash his hands.
Yeah. But yeah, I understand what you're saying.
So like that really, that part, that fucks with me, man, because I'm like, let's just keep it a cool 80 minutes. Let's make a good, swift action movie. And then suddenly this becomes a 3-star movie, you know, and it's the movie that you talk about and go, you know, like it's not great, but it's got some killer action and it's swift and it's to the point and it doesn't fuck around. And now it does. Now it's one of those movies where it's like, it's got some good bits in it. It's batshit crazy, but it's just, it's all right. It's fine. It's slow. You know, there's slow patches and you got to get through them. And it's like, well, now I'm not really selling it. Exactly. And you know, when you think about what I'm saying before, the whole let's get a bunch of friends together a bit drunk and watch it. Yeah. What do you like?
Exactly. You can kind of talk over this movie and watch it as well because you're not going to...
And that bit becomes the fucking let's go get another drink bit.
Yeah,
exactly. Like, if anything, it's toilet break.
Yeah.
You know? Anyway. So that leads us to our finale. We're finally here.
Yep.
What a fucking...
I did like the like when the shootout started.
Yep.
It was almost like Mad Max with the amount of motorbikes that were after them and him just gunning them down.
It did go a bit Road Warrior, didn't it?
Yeah, it was awesome. I didn't mind that. I was like,
I think there was some pretty clever action in this. It wasn't boring by any stretch.
Boring.
There was
the cuts were quite blatant. The fact that going back to the first car chase on the freeway, how they'd cut. They're on a freeway. They're doing what they do, and then all of a sudden, bang! They're in an alley in LA, and I'm like, hang on a minute, how do we get from the highway to there?
I have no sense of geography in this film whatsoever.
What the hell?
Like, not like they're at this hotel, which to me looked like a different hotel from the one they were in the night before.
Yeah, it really did. When they came out in the morning, they're like, hang on a minute,
I'm like, that's not
really here.
That's not where they stayed. Yeah, it looked like a motor inn, and then this one looks like a cottage kind of thing.
Yeah,
there were like more trees or something. Yeah,
and then there's a barn in the background. I'm like, what? Yeah. Where did that come from?
Barn? Because I swore it looked like a.
It looked like a roadside hotel.
With a neon sign kind of style.
No.
And I don't know how, like, they just drive for a little while and then they're at a foundry. Is that the same foundry where they were axe dancing? Is that what that's meant to be? Did they just stumble across that?
No. This is a different one. No.
Well,
this is totally different one.
They seem to like their foundries.
Yeah. Well, it was in the 80s. It was a thing to RoboCop had one, Terminator had one. Like, it was the place to kind of end, or like they liked it, or maybe
I think it might just be an easy.
I think it's an
easy kind of gritty looking set. It'd be easy to like because the roofs are fucking high.
It'd be easy to rent out because just knock off work.
Exactly what we need to cut. They're probably abandoned for all we know. Like,
exactly.
And no one's giving a fuck about whether or not the foundry's going to get torn down or anything like.
And it's the 80s. It's not as if it'd be safe either. It will be fine.
No.
But yeah, it was. Yeah, see, there you go.
It's just a
and
big.
how
It's
I
just a
teed it
big
off then
shoot
is
up.
how
It's just a. Yeah. It's just a big shoot up. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
There was one moment where a guy on a motorbike. I like the guy that just bashes through the door of the hotel room where Stallone
that
is.
was hilarious. He kamikazed through the door.
And I'm like, dude, you didn't think that through at all. Because then
What are you
Stallone's
doing?
just there with the gun waiting
Yeah,
for it. And
he's
he's
like,
like, he's fallen off his bike. He's like,
He has to try and get
no.
up, get off
yeah,
the
I'm
bike
like, oh, this
off
is
him
awkward.
and-
No, I fucked this
No.
up. I'm like, what are you trying to do, man?
What was your end game there,
What
pal?
was your end game? Because that's not a sacrifice. Because they're still in the room. They're no.
It was
you know,
random.
Anyway,
It was
it's,
random.
it's fine. Yeah, so we get to the foundry and we have a kind of blasé punch up between
Between the Night Stalker and
Night Slasher.
Cobra,
It's fine,
and that was it.
and that's it.
And
Although
then
there's
movie ends. It was bad.
there's the Night Slasher has these little monologue about the New World Order, and we finally kind of go, oh, okay, so that's what was
doesn't
going
make
on.
any sense.
But then
though.
you go back and go, well, you know, that's not really what happened.
Yeah, exactly.
But then I also love how Stallone gets the upper hand on him, and then the Night Slasher does his whole, "You're not going to do it. You're a cop. You've got rules." I'm like, what?
Oh, yeah.
What movie you been watching, man? This whole movie has been about how
Has been
Cobra
him-
has no rules.
Yeah, man.
How he doesn't give a fuck. He will
Yeah.
shoot you. Like at no point did they try and present the moral argument about that. Like it's not like he was torn. It's not like he was ever like, oh, maybe I should
this.
maybe I should bring him in all the time. And I'm like, and then in my head thinking, oh, this will be funny. He's just going to give a one-liner and shoot him.
Yeah.
But then Stallone plays the conflict. And I'm like, no, you can't suddenly have the conflict.
Yeah. Where
has
why,
this
why
been
have you been
all
yeah,
movie?
Exactly.
You've just been shooting people
That's so
willy-nilly. You put a fucking laser sighter on your gun last night because you were like, well, this is going to fuck up some dudes, man. And now you can't just do that.
Yeah.
That made me mad.
That made you mad?
Because I was like,
Oh,
it
'cause
should
of the
just be a
edge, you were
shoot up. It
fucked.
should just be a big, and he should get a good. Oh, he gets a pretty good. It's a pretty good death. The up on the hook and then the slow,
yeah,
the
and
slow
then
push
slow
into
balloon,
the fire.
which was so set up. What the fuck is that for normally? So for people who haven't seen this, I'm going to spoil it for you because you're not going to watch it. He literally puts him up on a hook that looks like it moves around meat. It looked like a meat hook to me.
Yeah.
Right. So he goes in. They're in a foundry which there is fire and lava
Yeah.
and blah 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 and all that stuff. And he just the hook moves him through. It's like
Like a furnace.
a furnace which is as big as the Jurassic Park gate.
Yeah.
Right. And
It looks made for human size.
Yeah, exactly.
Which
so
I don't know
it's
what it
so
would be for.
big, and there's flames from just all sides, and then it just torches this
I
torches
don't
this
know
guy.
what they're for. Is it like
What is
would
that
you hang a
for?
big
log. No.
or no?
What are you
Would
gonna
you
burn
hang
it
like
for?
a big
Metal?
a big pot, like not like a cooking pot, but you know how they have those and they're full of lava and
Yeah,
they
yeah,
tip them.
I know
Would
what
you
you're
maybe
talking
hang one of them on that
What
and
are the
then
top-
push it?
What are the
through?
top burners for then, Tys? Like
I don't
it
know.
made no
I
sense.
don't
This thing was made to cook bad guys, and it did.
It cooked him up good.
It cooked him up good. And to be honest, I was like, oh, that was pretty original. It was made for him, but it was pretty original.
Yeah, it's not the worst bad guy death.
No.
I do like a good, satisfying bad guy death. I just wish their fight had been. You've been showing me these axes this whole movie.
Well, this is the thing.
Why
This is
didn't
what
this turn
got
to an
cut
axe
out.
fight?
This is reading about it. This is what got cut out a
Yeah.
lot. A lot of the double axe kills were cut out of this movie
Because they're too
which-
violent.
They were too violent. They
Sure.
didn't want that.
At least we did get
Um,
our Stallone axe fight
That's
many years
true.
later in the OK Bullet to the Head. Did you see that movie?
What movie?
Bullet to the Head.
No.
It's a Walter Hill movie with Sylvester Stallone,
Bullet
and
to
at
the
the
head.
end, him and Jason Momoa, who is the bad guy,
Well, so it's new, recent.
2012ish,
Oh, okay.
have an axe fight,
That is awesome.
and it's pretty great. The rest of the movie is fine,
Huh.
but that's pretty great.
I have not seen that.
Anyway, that's the fucking end of the movie. And then they leave the foundry and he had to punch the square cop as
I
well.
did like that bit though because that prick pissed me off.
Well, he's a pompous dick.
but you know what
I'm sorry, the guy that all he said, he's not wrong. He's like, I don't know if they would have been my methods.
That would have
do you
been
mean do you mean not blowing up an entire small town. Yeah, I would hope that
fair.
wouldn't be everyone's methods. Like,
I like it. I like it a bit.
you're on board
I'm
for
on
the
board
punch
for
the nerd?
I am punching the nerd. Yeah, I'm all for punching that asshole.
And
especially
not.
because how he punched him, he shook his hand, punched him, held on to the hand that he's shaking, so he could stand him up. Go, there you go, mate. Are you all right? You're right. Yeah. Well done.
It's just,
I did like that.
but it was so like, it was the one last thing where it's like, I'm going to punch his Poindexter.
It was so good.
And then I'm going to ride my bike after the sunset. I went John Wayne then.
So the vehicles in this movie.
Yeah, but then she gets on the back of the bike, and then there's this 80s pop rock song that's just like...
It was
woo!
called Cobra. The song was called... It was written for the movie, yeah.
But then it doesn't have any relevance to this movie. Like, I'm expecting like a, maybe like something a bit more, Lethal Weapon-y 80s. This is like a beach anthem. Like, this is fun party time, and they're cruising down the street on their bike. I'm like, where are you going, guys? What's the plan? Do you want to maybe, you got reports to write, Cobra?
No,
You're not getting
He doesn't write reports. Gonzalez writes everything.
No, this movie should be called Gonzalez.
No, it shouldn't. It should be called Cobra.
And we haven't even talked about the fact that it's funny that his name's Marion.
Yeah.
Because, well, look, and it's John Wayne's original name.
That's true.
Funny that I keep dropping into a John Wayne impersonation.
Yep.
His name was Marion. But I also think that it's interesting because I don't think it might have been intentional initially, but then it doesn't pay off that they make this ultra symbol of masculinity.
Yeah.
Cobra.
Cobra.
He's the rogue cop, and he's banging Bridget Nielsen. He's ultimate man, but they give him the name Marion. And I'm like, that's actually, there is thought put into that. They give him a female name because they're like, we can present the most male,
yeah,
and give him a female name. They don't do anything with that idea because that's an interesting idea there. There's something to that. They don't do anything with it.
No.
But so 2 points out of 10 for at least for the name, just attempting something. Because this is the kind of movie where I would expect him to be called like Max Power.
Yes.
Like Max Power Cobretti.
John Steele.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I would expect from a movie like this.
Yeah.
So good on him.
Marion Cobretti.
Marion.
And that's where they get the Cobra from. Cobretti.
Yeah.
Cobra.
Well, he's not.
And he has a Cobra.
And he also has Cobra on his gun.
His gun.
He would have it tattooed somewhere, surely.
He would, but he wasn't into tats at this point.
As if we didn't see that.
He gets later on
That's
in
Expendables days
where he's literally, there are shots where he's getting tattooed.
Yeah.
For real.
For real.
For reals.
Oh, man. So that's Cobra.
That's Cobra. Ladies and gentlemen.
I think you should watch it. I think anyone can give it a go.
Have it a go. Look, have it a go. Jesus. Just watch it. My brother came and visited me this week, and he's only listened to 2 episodes of this podcast, and he's like, yeah, get to the movies. I'm like, all right, we're going to get to the movies. He's like, what are you doing this week? We're doing Cobra. He's like, oh, I'm fucking in, because it is to that fanboy level of watching Cobra. There are, this is why you have never heard of it. But people love it on a certain level. There are Stallone fans out there which Stallone can do no wrong.
Yeah, but it's not on the same level as like is it? Because I don't think it's in the same ballpark as like for those 80s action kids. Like I'll go back to Commando. We'll use Commando as the example.
I think it's a Red Heat. I don't think it's a Commando. I think it's a Red Heat.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough.
Because it's on that level. It's not as Commando is
so
here.
It's not.
Do you know what I mean?
It's probably like 2nd or 3rd tier 80s action. So it does have its fans.
Yeah.
What are considered failures in the careers of these action guys, but some people they have their supporters.
Fans are gonna of course they're gonna see it. Yeah.
Interesting, yeah, but give it a watch. Get some friends together and we keep hanging shit on it, but God, fuck, it's bonkers. It's got some really funny bits in it.
Yeah, if not, just watch it for the fun.
Because it is a good time.
Axes in the air, hoy.
It's just not even choreographed well. Like, what are they doing?
It was awesome.
How does it stop? Is there a timer? Does someone go, and we're done?
No, I think it kind of teeters out, or maybe it.
Do you reckon there's that one guy that keeps going?
And
everyone's like, fuck. Alan,
Jesus,
we've
Frank.
finished.
God damn it. Every time,
man.
We do 8 and then we stop on 8, mate. Okay? Mate.
Sorry.
Yeah, well done, Frank. It's your turn to buy lunch.
Exactly. Your shout.
Yeah.
Okay, well, so that was Cobra.
Yeah.
Now we're going to move on.
We are going to move on. We're
was
moving
just-
on. I
that
felt we
was
talked
shit-ass.
too long about that movie. But
No,
that's okay.
I think we talked about it an adequate amount of time.
Yeah.
Probably more than anyone's ever spoken about it before.
That's true.
I might go on a hunt and see if anyone's done a Cobra podcast and see what they say. It'll be interesting to compare
Or an
notes.
essay.
Do you reckon there's like a random like masculinity essay floating around some kind of, social sciences degree
Yeah.
where someone goes into the false masculinity of Cobra?
Absolutely.
That definitely
It
exists.
definitely exists.
I'm almost
That definitely
100%
exists.
certain that would
definitely
exist
exists,
somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay, so the mailbag.
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 Did you want to go first or am I?
Is that what we call it? Mailbag?
Yeah, sure. I like mailbag.
No, you're doing mailbag this week.
Okay.
Well, we need a new name for it, but we'll get there.
We do. We have had people follow us on Twitter, which was really, really good. Please follow us on Twitter.
Yeah,
and
get in there.
we had a request on Twitter from Samantha De Rosario, my wife, who's just, I think, picking a bit of fun.
Full disclosure.
Full disclosure.
It is your wife.
It is my wife.
Not a random stranger.
No. But that's fine. She brought up a really good topic that she would like us to cover.
Sure.
Which I feel is a bit early. It's a bit early in the days for this. We will do it. I think it's a really good idea.
Okay.
I think we'll do it a little bit later though. The topic is the Brechtel test.
Is it Bechtel or Brechtel?
I think it's Brechtel.
Is there an R in it?
Bechtel test?
I thought it was Bechtel.
Bechtel. Let's say Bechtel test. And the Bechtel test is it asks whether a work of fiction features at least two women or two girls who talk to each other about something other than a man or a boy that require the two girls to have names. So to be legitimate characters in
two named characters having
in
a
a film?
conversation about anything other than a man.
other than a man. Find a film. We should talk about. We'll discuss about that.
Yeah,
But
that's look, it's a good idea.
It is. I think it's a great idea.
I'd love to talk about it because I have opinions on that makes me sound like a fucking. I have opinions on that.
I have opinions,
But
as a
I
man.
do. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I can
Of
tell
course,
you what to do with
we have opinions about this. Why wouldn't we?
because I think it's a very interesting experiment. I think it's kind of it got taken, it got kind of misused. I think as a judging meter of progressiveness in film.
Yes.
In a way that I think is ineffective. I think at its best, it's an interesting element to analyze in films that you think would pass.
Yes. Well, that's the thing.
I think its best usage is if you look at a movie that is pitched entirely at women, and then for some reason that doesn't pass. I think that's where it's most useful.
Yeah.
I think trying to apply something like that to all films is.
Of course, you're
is
gonna
misleading.
You're not going
and
to be able to do that. No.
No, and diminishes the quality of certain films. I think it highlights the need for more
Absolutely.
female-orientated stories in Hollywood, and that is without doubt. We need more of that,
Absolutely.
and we need more, artistic input from females. We need more female directors. We need more female writers. We need more female cinematographers, editors.
Yes.
I can name 20 directors off the top of my head right now, and I wouldn't even have begun to list how many I know. But you asked me to name 10 female directors, and I'm going to struggle.
I'm going to struggle, yeah.
And that needs to change.
Awful.
That
I
needs
don't
to change.
like that.
No, I don't like that either. That absolutely needs to change.
Yeah.
But I think using the Bechdel test as the gauge for
Immediate-
those
for
issues,
no.
I think is misleading.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I'd love to talk about
there is a list out there if our readers want our readers
our readers.
our readers
Like the New
read
York
our
Times.
podcast. Our listeners want to look it up. There is the list of films that check off or
Pass.
the
Pass or fail is
Bechdel
the-
test.
is
Yeah,
the-
it's a test. So yeah, unfortunately, what is in what the I've looked at the list, and unfortunately the list isn't. A lot of people said that they're not great films. Unfortunately.
Oh, okay, that's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. But Yeah.
All right, we're gonna come back to
We're
this.
going to come back
That's
to
a
it,
topic
because I'd like
that
to.
requires a lot of conversation.
Yeah, I'd like to dip into it a bit more.
I would love to,
and
too.
just to talk about the female directors that we haven't heard of. That
Yeah, and use the opportunity to actually kind of highlight the work of some
female creators
ones
out
that
there.
we're big fans of.
Absolutely.
I think a lot of people out there. What am I talking about? Where the fuck are we?
Go, Tys.
Just the simple thing of telling people that a female director was responsible for something like Point Break. I think
Which
people
is exactly
would be,
where I go to. Yeah,
non-movie junkies would find that quite surprising.
Exactly.
I think, and I think it's those elements to it where you're like, it needs to be more. We need to see. The material needs to be independent of the sexual gender of the creators.
Say that sentence again.
Yeah, that was a fucking train wreck of a sentence. I'll say it this way.
Go.
Female directors can make male-orientated films,
yes,
and vice versa.
Yes.
And it needs to be irrelevant.
Yes.
We need to then look at the director and go, well, that movie about two sisters dealing with a family crisis was directed by a man, so it's not an accurate representation.
Mm-hmm.
Likewise, that fucking balls to the wall action movie, because Point Break is wicked good,
fucking intense,
wicked. Like, it's a really great film.
If you don't own Point Break, you
really
suck at
really
life.
kind of fun and dumb in a
So
very
good.
early 90s
So
way.
good.
But she directs the shit out of that.
She does. Yeah.
It needs to be irrelevant that it was people aren't people are so shocked when they hear it's a female director. It shouldn't be. It should just be it's the director.
Yeah. In saying that,
we're going to solve the problems of
of
sexism in this society.
You heard it first on Nick Tyson Videotape.
In our 1.5 hour podcast, we are going to solve the problem.
So we will come back to the Bechdel test. We will.
We will.
Good listeners.
We can't wait.
Apart from that, is that it for the mailbag today?
Yeah, we're going to move on to our streaming recommendations. So I had some correspondence this week.
Yeah.
Good friend of the podcast,
Yeah.
Reardon Jones, has suggested a name for our streaming section. I would like your approval.
Streaming section, yeah.
He's suggested that the name should be Crossing the Streams.
Not bad.
It's not bad.
Crossing the streams.
It's not bad.
Cross the streams.
You cross the streams.
You're going to endanger us. You're going to endanger us, our friend, the nice lady who painted us in advance before she became a dog. I like it.
It's not bad.
I'm in.
It also has a urinating connotation, which I quite like as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is funny. Makes me laugh. So thank you, Reardon Jones, for this week.
Cross the streams.
We're crossing the streams.
We are.
I'll go first.
Yeah.
My recommendation is from Netflix this week.
Oh, lovely.
Going back to Netflix after I think I've actually done a few on Netflix, even though I said I'd do others.
I have to decide. I have to pick from other things now because all my last three have been stands. So. Go.
Well, there you go. Netflix, they recently added Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
Oh!
Which I would like to recommend, because if you haven't seen Bogus Journey, it is better than Excellent Adventure.
Oh, what?
I'll happily put it out there.
Actually, they're both level for me.
Level?
I love them both.
Sure.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with the first one. I think the second one is like legitimately great.
Yeah.
It is funny. It is...
Shout out to Rob Dog.
It's bonkers. It's got a real surrealist quality to it. It's doing some really crazy stuff. That whole sequence in hell is just
bizarre,
crazy.
isn't it?
Like, they took a concept which was kind of simple on paper, like kids with a time machine assemble historical figures to make their project.
Yeah,
great.
Sure.
They've taken that. It is like there are like robot doppelgangers who are taking over their lives, and they get sent to hell, and they meet the Grim Reaper, and then they go on a journey to save rock and roll, and
become ZZ Top,
and become ZZ Top, and build station, and like it's really bizarre and off the charts. Like, when you think about how they took what was initially a pretty simple concept for an original and then just turned it on its head for this sequel. Yeah. The two of them are so much fun. I love them both in it. Well, we were just talking about Keanu Reeves, Point Break. I'm like, why is he fresh in my mind? And Alex Winters
Winter
from Lost Boys.
Yep.
And that's pretty much it. Is there anything else he did?
And this, what was this?
No, sorry, and the Bill and Ted series.
Oh, this, yeah. No, that was basically
there.
it,
He's kind of
unfortunately,
Who's
okay,
great.
okay,
He's
hey.
great in these movies.
Yeah.
And then you get William Sadler doing my favorite Grim Reaper. He's just so good.
He's so good
because he's got the perfect look for it.
It's weird, indebted, like huge brow, and
But it's so funny.
Cool. Very cool.
Best
indeed.
3 out of 5. You sunk my battleship. I love him so much.
So good. Yeah.
Anyway, so get on it. I'm sure everyone's seen it.
Everyone's seen it.
If you haven't seen it in a while and you think it's just a trashy, it's whatever.
So you can revisit
it's a dumb
it.
movie.
It does hold up.
Oh, I've watched it very recently, and it's better. It gets better the older you get, because I think as kids when we watched it, we were just like, yeah, Bill and Ted's
Bit of fun, yeah.
When now we're old enough to realize that they're doing some really, really interesting shit in that movie, and they're trying really hard to do something that is unexpected, and I think they do it fairly well.
Oh, nice.
Get on it.
Netflix. Mine is also Netflix.
Yes, nice.
For my Crossing the Streams this week.
Crossing the Streams.
Mine is, I know you'll be a fan of because you love the writer. My pick is Misery. I love this movie, and this movie absolutely holds up still.
Full disclosure, I've never seen it.
Tyson.
Yeah, it's on one of my. That's one of my. How have you not seen this lists?
So directed by Rob Reiner.
Yep,
amazing. Stars James Caan and Kathy Bates in a movie that had her win Best Actress for this film.
Yeah.
So good. If you just want a quick little, obviously it's 1990 it came out, so if it's not on your radar and if you want to know a little bit about it, it's about a famous author who gets rescued from a car crash by his number one fan. He comes to realize that she's a little bit of a nutter, and I'm going to leave you there. I watched this only, I think it was about a month ago.
Oh, cool.
Because I bought it from JB Hi-Fi because I needed it in my horror section.
Sure.
It's one of the best horrors / thrillers that is up there, and it still lands perfectly on its feet and is just one of those perfect films.
Yeah, great.
That the tension in there that is built so much, and Kathy Bates. I think it was my first ever Kathy Bates movie. Maybe not. I'm not sure.
No, you would have seen something else with her in it by now.
No.
Recent.
Oh, no. I'm talking about when I first saw Misery back in the day.
No, that'd be most people's first experience with her then.
Yeah?
Because it was a big... I think she was only...
Fried Green Tomatoes, maybe?
No, I think she was Broadway...
TV? No? Wasn't there something in the 80s she did?
She might have done a little bit of TV, but I have a feeling she was mostly Broadway and... straight TV, live theatre that led her... and small TV stuff that led her into this role.
Her character, Annie Wilkes, in this goes hands down with one of the scariest characters of all time.
Yeah, it's a classic.
You fear this woman. You really do.
Yeah, she does.
She's one of those nutters. Just it's not full blown. It's just a little unhinged, and doesn't like.
Apparently, it gets pretty full blown though.
So good. Please watch it. It is my pick. Misery, directed by Rob Reiner. 1990 on Netflix. And ladies and gentlemen, that is it for Nick Tyson Videotape.
Yeah, we're going to wrap it up. Next week,
we're
doing a little Oscars wrap-up.
We're going to watch the Oscars.
Yeah. So
we're not going to watch them. We're going to review the Oscars, would you say?
Yeah. We're going to watch the ceremony. We're going to talk about what decisions we liked, what we didn't like, presenters, weird kind of awkward speeches.
What we think about the presenter.
Yeah, there's always just things some really bizarre choices.
Things that land and things that don't land.
And I think it's gonna be one of those
controversial things.
It's gonna be a controversial year. I think it's gonna be a year full of controversial speeches.
And
an atmosphere of.
I feel it's you kind of preaching to the choir though.
It's 100% preaching to the choir.
Everyone in this audience didn't vote for Trump.
Well, do
you know what I mean?
There's some in
maybe.
there. There's some loud and proud Republicans in there.
What's this time? We're looking at you. No. Yeah.
But it's going to be fun.
But we're going to talk about
it's always
it. Yeah.
It's always one of the most exciting times of the year for me.
It is. It's my grand final. It
Yeah.
is Tys and I's grand final. We bonded over the fact that we take the day off and
It's a good day.
stay up till 1 a.m. watching unless you watch it live.
Yeah,
stay
which
up
I'll
till 1
probably
a.m.
try and watch it live this year. But yeah, anyway, so we'll be back next week for our Oscars discussion.
Will the Oscars discussion, before we just sign off, we'll talk about the films?
We'll have a bit of a chat about the films.
Chat about them?
Yeah. Well, obviously, because we don't want it to go for 4.5 hours.
That's true.
But we'll have a chat about the movies, and we'll decide. Well, mostly in regards to whether or not it was a correct decision or not.
Correct decision,
I guess.
Correct
on behalf
decision.
of the Academy.
There's already some decisions that I didn't like.
Well,
and you've already
we
nominated
disagree
things.
with I disagree with 3/4 of the decisions that get
Already,
made.
yeah.
But that's just the nature of the game.
That's the norm.
Yeah,
Exactly. We don't get to decide these.
exactly. All right, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's been fun.
It's always fun.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.